Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. We're so glad that you're choosing us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. Happy Tuesday to the Nickel City Crew. Happy Tuesday, BillsMafia. Once again, I'm really happy to be on this platform, Buffalo fan base, under the guidance of the General himself, Justice. I'm really excited about the platform and the different things that we have planned. And I've got a lot of things on my mind for the Nickel City Crew coming up. And I'm really excited for the Buffalo Bills Mafia fan base and just being a part of this entire community. It's really been a pleasure. So let's kick it off. Episode 12. It's really good. We're getting ready to wrap up Season 1 of Nickel City Crew, and football is in the air. Minicamp is happening this week. Really excited about everything about the Buffalo Bills. Football is in the air, as I love to say, around this time of year. And before we've got the big break coming up for when they'll split for minicamp, and then that'll be the last time that we see our Buffalo Bills before training camp. I wanted to address a couple things tonight as we lead in to this Tuesday episode. So, listen, let's address one of the last elephants that we have in the room for the Buffalo Bills as we head into this 2022 season. Really, a lot of the worry for the Buffalo Bills, some of the questions that we had leading up to the season, Brandon Beane and his staff have handled with the draft and free agency. They've accounted for a lot of the deficiencies that the team had coming into, at least on paper, at the end of last season. So I'm really excited, and one of the last elephants in the room is Jordan Poyer, our All-Pro. JP21, the man, the captain. Put some respect on his name, as the kids would say. I'm really excited because I've seen a lot of people getting upset. I've seen a lot of people in rhetoric on Twitter talking about different things that we may not be true or may not be true, and his wife is posting this, and what's happening here, and is he coming to minicamp? Is he coming to voluntary camp? And listen, one thing that I'm very sure of when it comes to the Buffalo Bills is that Jordan Poyer deserves to be paid, okay? Let's make sure that that is clear. He absolutely, unequivocally deserves to be paid. He deserves the bag. He has earned it. He is an all-pro safety. He has been underrated for a while, but now he's getting the recognition that he deserves these last few seasons, and it's well-deserved. Now, that doesn't mean that Brandon Beane needs to make him the highest-paid strong safety in football or the highest-paid safety in football. Those two don't have to mean each other. Those two don't have to correlate. Because he's earned his money and because he's earned a new contract extension does not mean that Brandon Beane should feel obligated in any sense to make him the highest paid safety. And that's okay. In addition, trust me, I don't think that Brandon Beane is going to make him the highest paid safety. We have to trust Brandon Beane. And quite frankly, I think that he's earned it. I know I'm highly critical of Sean McDermott, and we've got episodes to go back on, and we could talk about those different types of things. Listen, Brandon Beane has earned my trust because of the fact that I watch his actions, and the way that he's built this team, to me, is the right way to do it. Is he perfect? No. Has he missed on draft picks? Yes. Has he traded up for certain picks that he should not have, Yes, of course. He's a human. He makes mistakes. He's not perfect at his job. But I like the way that he conducts himself at the office, so to speak. Brandon Beane is not an idiot. Brandon Beane understands this football team and where we are. This team is Super Bowl ready. Now, we don't need Jordan Poyer to be disgruntled all mini camp, and then as we break and coming back for training camp and he's missing days now, the way that the CBA is now, that it's almost virtually impossible to do holdouts anyhow because it's so expensive. And now the teams are no longer able to forgive the fines. So Jordan Poyer will be back in Buffalo at some point. I think that he's going to get paid too. Now, he may not get as much money as Drew Rosenhaus, his new agent, thinks that he's going to get, or he thinks he deserves. And that's understandable. Part of the reason that we heard that he switched agents was because he didn't feel that he was getting proper representation. I have no problem with Jordan Poyer wanting to extrapolate from the Buffalo Bills as much as he possibly can. He is an athlete. He is not an owner. It's his job to maximize his potential, to maximize his value while he has an opportunity and his body is able. They play a violent sport. So I am in no way poo-pooing and upset that Jordan Poyer is taking care of Jordan Poyer and his family. He should do that. But in addition to that, I don't think that the Buffalo Bills want this to be an issue. As I look at my calculations, this is really the last major issue that we have before we head into the season. Now, there's questions. We've talked about some of the questions for the Bills. We've talked about the rookies. What kind of impact will they make? We've talked about how we've got Ken Dorsey in a new position. I understand that there are different questions that the Buffalo Bills will have to answer. But on paper, this team is pretty buttoned up. We've got a lot of T's crossed, a lot of I's dotted. So because of that, I'm really interested to see what Brandon Beane does in respects to time frame. Because in my mind, I don't think that he wants to play around with this. I don't think that he wants it to be a lingering distraction. I don't think that he wants, regardless of when Poyer comes to minicamp or training camp, I don't think that he wants Poyer and the defense answering these questions all the time. I really don't. I think he will be compensated for his all-pro status. I think that Brandon Beane understands the room. He has shown us that with his previous contracts. He's shown us that. He understands. He gets out ahead of things. The Stephon Diggs thing could have been massive. It could have been a big deal. Now, it's not Brandon Beane's fault that Miami traded for the Cheetah and gave him the compensation. It's not Brandon Beane's fault about the Raiders obtaining Devontae Adams, excuse me. But even though it's outside of his control, those are part of your job description, is to adapt to the situation around you, to understand that the waters have changed, the temperature has changed in the room. And Brandon Beane gets that. No, you can't pay every player, and we all understand that, BillsMafia. We understand. The reason the name of this episode was called Relax is because it's time for us to relax a little bit. I hear a lot of stuff on Twitter and Instagram that a lot of it, quite frankly, I don't think is true. I think that Jordan Poyer is committed to the Buffalo Bills. I think he's committed to Western New York. But this still is a business. And I think that Brandon Beane understands all of those dynamics. I think he understands the locker room more than any of the fans do. I think he understands the dynamics of the room. This is a captain of your team, a captain of your defense. You know, they say all the time, I heard even Jeremy White said yesterday morning on Monday on WGR, like they watch who you pay. The players watch. The agents watch. Other people around the league, they watch who you pay. They're paying attention. So if you're telling me Jordan Poyer is not worth a new contract, then who is? If you're in a Buffalo Bills uniform. If you're walking around that locker room and they're not going to take care of Jordan, then who will they take care of? Now, we've seen some of the guys that they've doled out contracts to. But Jordan has been here. And one of the most important things about him is his availability. He never misses games, him and his counterpart back there in the secondary. Poyer, Hyde, they stay there on the field. They play the majority of the snaps. And they're really, really important to the defense. They're integral to everything that they do on that back end. And we love Trey White. Trey White's one of my favorite Bills. Him and Steph Diggs, those are my favorite guys. But the secondary brothers, the safety brothers back there, I know they've got the Splash Brothers NBA Finals right now out there in San Francisco. The secondary brothers back there, the safety brothers, those guys are a heck of a tandem. So I'm really interested to see about the time frame for Brandon Beane. I don't think this is going to be something that he wants to let linger. I think he's going to take care of it. It would be off-brand if he didn't take care of it pretty soon. And quite frankly, I would be shocked. I would be shocked if we are lingering into training camp. We're lingering into August, and this is not taken care of. They've got practices and question. You know the media will be all over it because we don't have much to really talk about the Bills. We're ready for the season to start. There's not a lot of drama around this team. There's not a lot of fat. It's everything is lean over there at One Bills Drive. Not a lot of extra going on. So the media would be all over some type of contract dispute. I don't think the Bills want that. I don't think Sean McDermott wants that. I don't think Brandon Beane wants that for the locker room. I think everybody understands the room. It's time to take care of them. I don't know about the parameters. I don't know about how much you take care of them and how much you make it for. I would say 2 years. Maybe it's 2 or 3 at the most. He is getting a little bit longer in the tooth. Maybe you don't even have to give him a huge extension. Maybe you just bump his salary. Give him a year extension on top of what he already has and just give him a whole bunch of cash. Maybe. I don't know how it all works with the salary cap and massaging. Maybe you can get Josh to restructure. His deal hasn't even kicked in yet. So I don't know how that all works. But I do know that Brandon Beane, I do trust. I trust him wholeheartedly to do the right thing for the Buffalo Bills, roster-wise. He doesn't coach the team. He does his job. He supplies the groceries. It's up to Sean McDermott to cook the meal. And Jordan Poyer is really important. He's important to everything that they do back there. Him and Hyde, they are important ingredients on defense. So I think it'll get done. I really do. Now, switching to minicamp, we've got minicamp this week. And again, we're getting ready for that big break after minicamp. That'll be the last time that the Bills are here before training camp. So that's usually where all the coaches and the owners will hold their breath, hoping that their players stay on their P's and Q's. And then after that, it's really going to be time. Believe it or not, you look at the calendar, summer's here. We just got finished with Memorial Day. Like it's almost getting time. BillsMafia, Nickel City Crew, it's almost time. Everybody's going to be focused. When I look at this team on paper, as I was just saying, there's not much to talk about in respects to drama, but the look of this team I like a lot. And I'll explain what I mean. A lot of times when you have a team that you think, might be a team that can do something or have some type of success in the season, it's been really weird because that hasn't been a team that we've been describing here in Buffalo before McDermott regime and Beane. We haven't been talking about how the Buffalo Bills, we had tons and tons of optimism leading into the year. The drought was really, really hard to go through. We all know it. We don't need to rehash it because it's already done. It's over. It's already healed at this point in time. We're on to a new thing. The drought is over, and what a glorious thing that is, that it's done. But during that drought, if you remember, it was really hard to get motivated and get really amped up for the season, looking at the roster, looking at some of the decisions that we would make, the front office, whoever the coach might be, obviously whoever the quarterback is. Those all matter, and they all affect your enthusiasm for your team. I know it's weird to say, but it's true of our team right now. We are the top dogs. We are the hunted. We're not hunting anymore. We're going to get everybody's best shot. Now, for me personally, that's a weird place for me to be as a Buffalo Bills fan. I'm not used to that as an adult, watching my team and getting ready for the season to start, knowing that everybody's got an eye on us. Literally. In the conference, in the league, we are among the favorites. We are among the teams that they think that can go to the Super Bowl. And Vegas has us as obviously the betting odds to win it. Now, I know that doesn't mean anything. Everything has to, play out on the field, and we all know that. I'm not telling anything that anybody doesn't know. The point is that it's been really, really interesting to embrace the fact that this is a new reality for me as a Bills fan. And I know that you guys have been going through it as well for a certain generation. This is not something that's normal. We do not go through listening to the fact that the Bills are Super Bowl favorites before the season. We're wondering if we can make the playoffs. We're looking at the schedule trying to figure out how many games we can win. Can we sneak into the wild card? That's been our reality. Our reality has not been the hunted. We're always chasing, 12 and Belichick. For the most of our existence during that drought, we have had nothing like this. There have been a few seasons here or there where you can get excited and get yourself amped up and hyped up, but there's still major deficiencies, major flaws on the team that that there were holes, and we're just hoping we can mask it up. Hell, the year that we broke the drought, we had a negative point differential. So, I mean, it's interesting to be in this chair. It's interesting to be on the other side of confidence, the other side of swag, as they would say, the other side of bravado. I know my team's good. I think it would be something catastrophic if they weren't. Obviously, injuries aside, we could never account for injuries, but injuries aside, if you look at it on paper, embrace it. What does this team not have? Look at it on paper. Indulge yourself. There's nothing else we can do. Minicamp's going to be over soon, and then we're just going to have to sit and wait for training camp. Indulge yourself. Quarterback, check. Most important position on the team. One of the most important positions in all of professional sports. We have one, and he's really good. Is he the best? I don't know. Is he top 5? Absolutely. Is he top 3? I think so. After that, what are we talking about? It doesn't matter. I don't care where you rank Josh Allen. I don't care if you put Mahomes ahead of him. I don't care if you put Rodgers ahead of him. I don't care if you put Brady. It doesn't matter to me. Tomato, tomato. Our quarterback is one of the tops in the league. Hands down. It's not debatable. He's proven it now for 2 years. He's shown it that he's got the goods. And I'm excited about the future. Okay, so we put check mark next to the most important position. Mixed backfield, check mark. Backs that don't all do the same thing. Now, obviously, sometimes you would want to say, well, let's just get backs that all do the same thing. No, I like a little bit of variation. I'm really excited to see what James Cook brings to the backfield. I think the competition breeds success. So obviously, you're going to get another level out of about a Motor Singletary. He's going to probably bring his best. That's going to raise the level. Duke Johnson on the back end with Zach Moss. A mixed backfield. You've got a lot of different components, and they'll figure out how to figure out the rotation and who makes the team and who gets a jersey. So we'll put a check mark next to the backfield. Deep wide receiver room, right? I'd put a check mark by that, especially with even Tavon Austin coming in as well, as a little added insurance to kind of, put a little bit more flavor into it. Some guys are improving, and I understand that. The Marquez Stevensons, the Jake Kumerows, even the I.J. Hodgins, those guys have not proven it yet. I understand that. But you mix those guys in with Tavon Austin and Isaiah McKenzie. We know Captain is leading the way. And then Gabriel Davis, this is his coming out party. This is his opportunity. His time is now. He's got the opportunity to do whatever he wants to do as wide receiver too. And a lot of people are bullish on him, and I would love to see him succeed because I've enjoyed watching his progress. So we'll put a check mark next to a deep wide receiver room. Okay, a fun name I'm going to come up with. I'm going to try to see if it can get some legs. The law firm of Knox and Howard, right? Let's put a check mark next to that. Dawson Knox was obviously a revelation last year. Scored a lot of touchdowns. Was definitely not expected to do that. And he had a great season. We don't have to worry about his contract extension right now. I don't know if he deserves one. It doesn't matter. I don't even want to debate about it. I want him to be the best Dawson Knox he can be this year. It's up to Brendan Bead to read the tea leaves in the future. That's his job. I'm focused on 2022 and trying to win a Super Bowl. That's all I care about in respects to the Bills, as BillsMafia, as a fan. I know I'm not playing, but you understand what I mean when I say that. I'm focused on that. So we'll put a check mark next to the law firm, Knox and Howard. O.J. Howard should be a lot of fun to watch. We'll see. If he's got anything in the tank, it's a big guy. Really intrigued by the tight end room. Okay, flip to the other side of the ball. Defensive line, we can put a check mark next to that, I think. Miller time, right? Miller time. Everybody saw that video on Twitter circulating, and I commented on it like this is exactly why you brought him in, period. For this. It's for those coaching moments. We talked about it when he was signed right here on Nickel City Crew. He hosts the defensive end university, kind of like the Kittle, how George does the tight end university. He does pass rushing you. He gives back to the game. He is a teacher of the game. Future Hall of Famer, and he wants to impart his wisdom onto the other guys, the young guys that are right behind him. Not selfish with his talents, not selfish with his knowledge. That's a good thing. You heard about Ryan Tannehill, and he's talking junk, and then he's got to, backtrack for the media and for the sake of the locker room, and but most guys are not always like that. Most guys are not always like Von Miller. So I think he's unique. I think he's going to raise the level. I talked about that in that podcast. He's going to raise the level of the defensive line group, the defensive ends in particular. He's going to bring them up to another level just by them watching his professionalism, his work ethic. It's going to help them, let alone all the tips of the trade that he's going to give them. So I'm willing to put a check mark by the defensive line. They created a lot of pressure last year. They didn't get home. I think Von Miller can help with that. Put him on a pitch count, keep him fresh for the playoffs. The secondary, we can put another check mark. Now, normally, if we had no injury concerns about Trey, it'd be double check marks. It's the strongest unit on the team, arguably outside of the quarterback. The secondary is a major asset for the defense. It kind of runs the defense. It's kind of odd that it kind of does it, though. They run it from the back end in. And now, hopefully, the defensive line will be able to bring some pressure and get home to the quarterback, or at least create turnovers that can complement it. But this secondary has been great under McDermott. We've got 2 all-pro safeties. Everybody's going to continue to knock on wood for Trey White. We love him. We hope he gets back healthy. And we're excited about Kaiir Elam. I'm excited about him. World-class speed outside. Can catch up if he falls behind. They say he's got good hips. I guess tackling's the only question, I'm sure, but that's a technique. That could be taught. He could be taught how to wrap up. I don't think that it's not a willingness for him to learn how to tackle, or him willing to go and stick his nose in. He might just have the best form. That's fine. He could be taught that. So I'm excited about the secondary. I love the nickel corner. We love Taron Johnson. Very underrated. One of the best nickel corners in the league. So, I mean, the secondary, you've got check mark. Special teams, kicker, punter, I'll lump them all together. We've got Tywan Jones to help take care of the special teams and lead that group. We know we've got one of the best kickers in the league in Tyler Bass. And we'll see what the punt god can do. What am I leaving out? Offensive line? I like our line. We'll see how they gel together. Our quarterback is so mobile and Josh moves around so much that it's kind of been mitigated sometimes, but we're a decent line. I think we're top half of the league. We're not the best offensive line, a bunch of maulers, a bunch of road graders. We're a passing, blocking offensive line, pass blocking. So, I mean, I understand. Sometimes it's not as pretty, and sometimes the guys will get beat. And that happens. We'll see how Roger Saffold fits in at the guard position. Another Pro Bowler for whatever it's worth, if you care about that stuff. If you look at the roster, there's not many holes. What else are we looking for? As Bills fans, I don't know much else Brandon Beane was supposed to do. I don't know much else that we really are looking for now. We're done now. This is it. You might get a street free agent or so, and obviously injuries in camp and things will happen. The roster at the back end will shuffle a little bit, but our 53 is probably here. You can go to your roster and see it. That our 53 is somewhere mixed in with these guys. This is it. And this team, to me, has the markings of a team that has greatness written on it. And I understand that I'm biased, and that's fine. But I'm also realistic. And I know I've never felt like this before about a Bills team, generally about the roster. I got excited about Rex Ryan coming because it was Rex Ryan. And I thought we had some credibility, and I was ready for the drought to be over. I got excited when T.O. came to town because it was T.O. And it was 2009, and it was the 50th anniversary of the Bills, and I bought season tickets. So, I found reasons to get amped up. But very, very rarely is it about the roster, about me looking at the actual roster, and it's like, man, we don't have many holes. I used to love looking at the roster when we had the cold front. And getting all those sacks with those guys, and Darius and Kyle in the middle, and Mario and Jerry. That was fun. That was a fun time. What did it amount to? We had no success. We had no quarterback. We had no success. The number one thing Brandon Beane needed to figure out, he figured out. And I'm confident in that. We have a quarterback. Then after that, you've got to find a way to supplement around him. and preferably while he's cheap. This is the last year we can cash in on that. This is the last year we can cash in on Josh is not taking up a whole ton of money. Now, the cap keeps going up, so a lot of times people will say that it's fugazi, it's not real, and I understand that. So the cap will go up and Josh's salary goes up and we'll still find a way, and I understand that whole premise. The point is, the best time to maximize this kind of thing, this window, is now while he's not expensive. That's how you can sign a Von Miller. That's how you can afford it. That's how you're going to have to be able to afford Poyer's extension. And you afforded Stephon Diggs' extension. You're able to play around and massage the cap, in part because you're not paying your quarterback $40 million yet. So I would like to see them take advantage of it this year. It's the same reason why last year hurt so much, because I didn't want to think about 2022 when I was in the moment last playoffs. I wanted us to go get it right then. And I know you all feel the same way. So it's just a little bit of a paradigm shift for me as a fan, and I want to hear your comments on if it is for you as well, because for my generation, again, we have not experienced this. There has not been this kind of hype since the 90s for the Bills. And it's legit. We think, we hope. Again, it'd be something catastrophic. Injuries aside, I cannot see this team being a 10-17 or a 9-8 team and barely scratching to get to the playoffs. I don't see that. Now, stranger things have happened. I don't see that. I'm on the record 13-4, 14-3 in a Buffalo Bills euphoric world. I have no doubts that this team is ready. Now, they're primed on paper, and you have to take it to the field. But one thing that I will give Sean McDermott credit for, he coaches his team up. Now, 13 seconds will always sting, and they were not prepared when it mattered most at the end. But we don't see a sloppy team for the most part when we watch the Buffalo Bills play every Sunday. Every week we don't see a sloppy team for the most part. And I'm not talking about just penalties. I mean a team that knows what it's doing. Timeout management, efficiency, offense, getting to the ball, how much time's left on the play clock. All those types of things matter. They all kind of tie in together. How professional are you? How ready are you to play this game? And each week, I think we can say, as Bills fans, that Sean McDermott has had the team ready to play. They have not put up many, many stinkers with him as head coach. So I'm going to be looking for him to manage this talent. This is the most talent that he's ever had. I'm going to look for him to manage it. We talk about all the slogans and the different things that he says that he enjoys saying, and I understand that. I'm not mocking him. But now, it's time. I think that it's all in front of him and this coaching staff. So it'll be real interesting to see how they handle it, how they deal with it. It's different when you're the hunted. When you're the hunter, it's easy to be the underdog. It's easy to go after something. It's easy to sneak up on guys a little bit easier. There's no sneaking up on any team this year. The Buffalo Bills will get their best shot at their opponent. They'll be circled on other teams' calendars. When's the last time we can say that? Outside of the Patriots game, and I don't even know if the Patriots, there was someone, they beat us so bad, I'm sure they didn't even circle those games because we were a joke. We didn't beat them. That wasn't a rivalry. When's the last time that other teams circled the Bills? As we go, wow, we're going to Orchard Park. Oh wow, they're coming here. Oh wow, Sunday night, or oh wow, Monday. That we're a main attraction. Class of the conference. On paper. So this is all new for me. It's all new territory. I'm enjoying it. I like it. I enjoy going to the barbershop. I enjoy walking around chest puffed out. And I'm just hoping that they can live up to some of the lofty expectations that we have, that the media has, that Vegas has put on them. But it is all in front of them. I'm not going to lay this. This all goes sideways. I'm not laying it at Brandon Beane. And I'll be clear. I think he's done a good job. I think he's got the roster set up. And these are your 2022 Buffalo Bills. Minus some tinkering on the back end of the roster as we get into camp. These are your guys. So we see how it lands. I'm really excited. Minicamp wrapping up this week. Then we do the break. And then we are ready for training camp. When training camp starts, that'll be the official season 2 of the Nickel City Crew. Again, I'm really, really excited for being here on the platform. Shout out again, Justice General. That is my man. I really appreciate him. Shout out, as always, to Jay Spence, the king over at Buffalo Rumblings, hooking us up and just being the connector that he is. Really appreciative to Buffalo fan base and the BillsMafia podcast network. I'm really happy to be on this platform. Can't wait for training camp. It's coming up. I mean, football is in the air. It's really hot out. I know you guys have probably been at the pool, but right around the corner, the pads are going to start cracking, and I really can't wait. As always, these were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Please stay in the moment, and always remember, just spread love, not hate. Go Bills.